like it's 7.5. No GPS, no rules, no shame. Just a funky little quad and a soul train frame. We fly that flow. Spread that gap. No time to nap. No time to nap. Hit that roll. Funk and control. Funk and control. Bounce that wall. Bounce that all. We fly it all. Funk it all. We fly it all. Funky and free, we fly indoors, we fly with glee. Whoop it, loop it, groove it, move it, bounce it, flip it, funk it, rip it, fly that soul, don't lose control. Tiny whoop love gonna make you whole. I thread the needle through the vinyl stacks, bounce off the mirror ball, never looking back. My quad's got soul, it's got style, it's got sass. It dips through the incense like a blast from the past. I'm flying figure eights through the lava lamp glow, dodging house plants like a funky pro. My whoops got rhythm, my sticks got heat. I'm the pilot of the party with the grooviest beat. I loop through the hallway, I dive by the broom. I'm the disco ghost in your living room. I hit that split, that's over grandma's chair. She just claps and says, boy, you got flair. I'm flying freestyle with a velvet touch. My quad so smooth it don't need a clutch. From the shag rug to the ceiling fan, I'm the funky little fly with a master plan. The curtains dancing on the breeze, freestyle funk in my living room with ease. Tiny whoop magic bumping every wall. I'm the James Brown of flight, can't stop at all.
Greetings, cretins! My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to hell. Welcome to your worst effing nightmare. Welcome to, what is it, June? June giveaways. 4 June giveaways in about an hour. So you've got an hour to join the Patreon at the $5 or up tier if you would like to be included in the first 3 giveaways. The 4th giveaway is open to anybody. It's $10 a ticket. I'm sorry, it's $5 a ticket. You just wait until we start the giveaways and then you can jump in. You were just watching The Maiden, not really The Maiden, but sort of The Maiden, and the second battery with the Caillou Mini, finally. The actual Maiden was with the AMAX Performante 1303 7500 kV motors, and for some reason 2 of these motors were clicking a little bit. And it was flying really weird and not great. Like, it flew, but there was some weirdness, and I just was not in the mood to troubleshoot it, and so I just took them off. Because they're a 2mm motor shaft all the way through, so you have to drill all the props out to 2mm, which is just too much. That's just too annoying. So, if somebody wants these, I will sell them to you cheap. AMAX Performante, they're gorgeous. 1303, 7500s. 2 of them are completely fine. 2 of them make this awkward clicking noise. I don't know what it is. I used the same hardware and everything, and I bolted and soldered up these RC and Power 1204 8000s? Yes, 8000s, which is what you were just watching. And all was right with the world. It flew totally fine with these. So something's going on with 2 of these motors. They come with a set of Gemfan 2.5-inch props that I've already drilled out to 2mm. If you want a motor with 2mm up above the bell, you're a weirdo, and you're in the right place because we're all weirdos. But if you want, basically, a couple of motors were made around the time that FPV Cycle, Bob Rugi's 3-inch toothpick frame was super popular, and the meta at the time was running no T-mount hardware to save weight. Well, when you do that with a 1.5 millimeter motor shaft up above the bell, you break a lot of those motor shafts. And so a couple of motors were made with 2 millimeter motor shafts up above the bell to fix that problem. So, yeah, there you go. I think they still make these motors. AMAX is a German company. So, yeah, if you want these motors, let me know. Otherwise, I'm throwing them in the goddamn river. I'm not throwing them in the river. But I'll figure something out to do with them. So, yeah, the Caillou Mini is good to go. I flew 4 batteries on it, well, 3.5 batteries on it, with these RC and Power 1204s, and Gemfan, I can't see anything anymore, 2520, Gemfan 2520 propellers, and the Flywoo wide-angle camera. And so let's just we're doing giveaways in about an hour. We're going to cover as much ground as we can before then. Here is the Flywoo. I'm just going to call it Flywoo. Here is the Flywoo camera. Here is the regular 04 Lite. I am staggered at the difference in field of view between these two cameras. Yeah, I can't believe that I don't have any problems flying the regular camera. It's kind of outrageous. Hold on, let me get this lined up a little bit better for everybody. There we go. That'll look a little bit better. So yeah, that's the Flywoo camera. That is the regular 04 Lite. I flew the 2.5-inch Baby Turtle back to back with this Caillou Mini, and I didn't really notice a difference between the two cameras. Like, I don't know, I just flew. Like, yeah, I had wider field of view with this one, but I could see farther forward and where I was going with this one. I don't know. I don't know why. There are a whole bunch of people that are like, I can't fly the 04 Lite. It's so awful. I find it to be completely fine. Maybe I'm a freak, but yeah, it's completely fine. I think there are some definite benefits to it. Like if you're chasing little RC drift cars, for example, everything is zoomed in, and so you don't have to get as close to like frame the car up full screen, which looks really cool when you do that. And so, yeah, the Flywoo Wide is definitely going to give you the field of view that you get from kind of everywhere else in FPV, really. But I don't know. I'm not like, oh my god, it's the greatest thing ever. And I gotta be honest, I am annoyed as hell that there's so much purple TPU in view. I can just hack away with a little pair of which I might just, like, for example, all you really need to do, it only ever shows up in the corners. I don't understand why the people that design these 3D prints don't design the 3D print it, put the camera in it, record DVR, and then look at it. And if there's a whole bunch of purple in the corners, redesign it so that the corners are sucked in more. I guess the philosophy is, well, just let people do this. Let people sit here and remove as much material as they want. But, like, the camera is the same on all of these. And yes, my camera is pushed far enough, as far forward as it'll go. The way the mount is set up, you use the screws to screw it in. And so there's no pushing this camera any far forward. So, yeah. I don't know. A little bit weird. I have not dove into black box logging quite yet. I have some flight footage, though, from here with the settings correct with gyro data. So we will pull up gyro flow real quick just to see what it's like. Just a tip, just for a minute. And yeah, but it's here's the big kind of revelation today. This is not 2S. 2S is not enough voltage for this. Once we get up to, look, tiny whoops, 1.2 inch propeller, 65 millimeters motor to motor, right? Classic old school tiny whoop. 1S all day, absolutely all day. 1S is perfect. Does it sag a lot? Yes, but the batteries are super lightweight. Great. 1.6 inch tiny whoops. 1S works if you get high enough kV motors, but 2S is really, really good on 1.6 inch prop. So 1.6 inch prop is a blend between 1S and 2S. 2 inch propellers, 2S all day. For sure, 2S. 2.5 inch propellers, you can kind of do 2S, but it's gonna be 3S. This is gonna go to 3S. 3 inch propellers, 4S. 5 inch propellers, 6S. 4 inch propellers, 5S. Right? Like, this isn't like this isn't really a conversation. This is just the way that it is. Like, will this fly on 2S? Absolutely. Is the battery sag absolutely absurd? Absolutely. That's a lot of absolutelys. You know, and so, like, also, the batteries coming off of here are 110 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's only like 80 degrees here in Georgia today. So the batteries are getting really hot, and that is a surefire sign that you're pushing a battery too hard. If I was going to make 2S work on this setup, which I might, I've got two 2.5 inch builds right now. This one, for sure, is going back into a 2 inch frame. 2 inch 2S. Amazing. Perfect. Does it sag a good amount? Yes. Does it sag too much and get the batteries hot as shit? No. And so this whole rig, the motors too, these are 1202.5s on here, which is perfect for 2 inch. This whole electronics package is going to get moved back into a 2 inch baby turtle or bando turtle. I have a 2 inch bando turtle on the way. This electronics package, minus the motors, I don't necessarily know what to do with. This is the HGLR. I'm sorry. This is the JHE MCU 1 to 2S 12 amp G474. And so, like, this AIO won't run on, I mean, it'll run for a split second, but then it'll catch on fire on 3S. So first and foremost, I need to find an AIO, another AIO. The HD0 Gamma, which I just put into my frame with 3 inch props and big old 1405 Oddity RC motors. Yeah, HGLOC Gamma is stuck in here. I won't get another one of those because it doesn't have black box on board. So what I need to find is a 2 to 4S AIO with black box and ELRS. I'm pretty sure one exists. I just haven't started looking for it yet, but I'm pretty sure such a thing is out there. Because, yeah, this camera is heavy. This camera is big, which means that the TPU is heavy. And at this weight, with this size and drag propeller, 2.5 inch, 3S is right. It's the right battery voltage for it. And I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time like trying to get 2S to work. But, well, that's not true. I'm going to spend a little bit of time. I do have, thanks to Matt Arose, I have some 11,000 kV motors that I believe are 1203 that I am going to solder up to this to see how it is. I want to compare 1204 8000 kV to 1203 11,000 or 10,000 or whatever it is, with less pitchy propellers. Gemfan makes a 2512. This propeller on here now is a 2520. It is. 2520 is starting to get into the world where it's a draggy propeller, really durable, really strong propeller. And so when we are running to the limits of a certain amount of battery voltage, 1S for example, the answer is not to go to a bigger, heavier motor, because a bigger, heavier motor will pull really hard on that battery, and it'll also weigh the craft down. The answer, as we found with Tiny Whoops, is to go with the smallest motor possible, 0702, and to send the fucking KV to the moon. Cranking the KV up on a motor doesn't make it any heavier. It actually makes it lighter. Fractionally. You'll never notice. But and so when you crank the KV to the moon, you can run a smaller motor. The smaller stator of the motor, the smaller sized motor, it won't pull as hard on the battery, even though the KV is through the roof. Because we don't go full throttle and use that maximum KV very often, okay? And it's a smaller, lighter weight motor, so the whole weight of the entire rig comes down. And so, yeah, 1204s are too much for 2S. Not super surprising, but yeah, this is the runtime is actually kind of okay, but when you go full throttle, and just in general, like the response time of this is not great. What really made me realize that is when I back-to-backed it with this guy on 1202 and a halves. 1202 and a halves versus 1204s. And the 1204s felt worse than the 1202 and a halves because they're too big of a motor. The bell is heavier. The motor itself is heavier. The propellers are, these are on basically the same propellers. I am going to switch this to the exact same propellers because I do want to do an exact apples to apples comparison. Right now, this is on the HQs. So I'm just going to start removing these props because I do want to get an exact head-to-head of Caillou Mini versus Bando Turtle, 04 Light versus Flywoo wide angle. Let me actually, I'll play it for you now. I will play one flight file from the Caillou Mini and then right into another flight file from the Baby Turtle. So you're going to see 1204s with the Flywoo wide angle camera, and then you're going to see 1202 and a halves with the regular 04 Light. So Caillou Mini first. This is that first battery that I played on the intro, by the way, was not a fully charged battery. What you're about to see here is a fully charged battery, and it is a 450. It is a 450 mAh2S, which is the same size battery that I flew on the Bando Turtle. So this is the Caillou Mini here. It's easy to tell because there's a ton of purple in the corners. Looks like I'm looking through a periscope of some sort. It flies pretty good, don't get me wrong. It's totally flyable. Most people would fly this and be like, wow, yeah, this is really nice. This is super fun. I have impossible standards, and I've been flying a lot of this style of build, and I know what's possible. And this is not as good as what's possible, I believe, because we're just asking too much from the battery. You know what? I'm gonna play you the DVR files even better, because you're gonna get to see the battery sag. So 450 mAh. So yeah, here it comes. Can you guys see all of that? Nope, not on the left there. You can't see the battery sag on the left. So now you can. And so watch this battery. This is a freshly charged 450 mAh battery. The 420 and 380 mAh batteries really got their asses handed to it. This 450 did a lot better. But look at that. It sagged all the way down to 3.4 on a fully charged battery, on a full throttle punch with not crazy propellers. That's just too much. That's just too much battery sag. Let's see what the... Oh, you fucking motherfucker. Let's see what the... How many amps it pulled. Gotta do this again. Hold on, sorry. Okay, now you can see the battery voltage. So let's slow it down. And here comes the biscuit. 23, 24, 25, 26, 25, 24. So it only got to 25 amps, but it sagged the battery so hard. 3.6, 3.5, 3.46, 3.41. Sagged the battery all the way down to 3.41. And this is a fresh battery. This is like a fresh 2S450 tattoo. Good battery. And so I'm going to let the rest of this play out. And then we're going to play the baby turtle with better sized motors for 2S is what I think I can say. These 1204 motors will pull a lot more amps than this, but they got to have a battery that can keep up, right? Like as the battery sags, the amount of power sags along with it. And so this 2S battery sagging all the way down to 3.4 volts per cell becomes a 6.8 volt battery, right? Versus 8.4 volts, which is where it should be, right? And so the amp number is not all that high because the battery is sagging so bad. You're probably going to see about the same amount of amps. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the baby turtle will be. We'll watch it in a minute. And so, yeah, that's kind of the deal. On these 2.5-inch builds, if you put a smaller motor on them, if you don't match the motor... But here's the problem with that. If you put a smaller motor on it, if you run it on a 1202.5 or an 1103, that is not enough motor for the propellers. And so the response time is going to be pretty similar to what it is on here. You put that setup on 2-inch props, and the response time gets way better. It's a much better paired motor and prop combo. And that's what we want. Like, that is one of the best ways to get your shit flying really, really good, is to perfectly match the motor and prop combo. And motor prop battery combo, actually. The Caillou Mini is not that right now. At the moment, the motors are too big for the voltage of the battery. Could I? Yes, I could go to a giant 2S battery on this. I could do like a 2S 850 mAh battery on this, and it would perform a lot better. But that battery will not fit on this tray. A 450 mAh battery is about all you're gonna get on the length of this top plate here, and so that's what we have to run. We have to run 450 mAh batteries. Well, we have to run batteries that are roughly that long. Even the 450 mAh battery, it hangs off the back of this thing significantly, but luckily the camera up here and the camera holder are fairly heavy. And so the CG balances out okay. Here comes the baby turtle HD. And so let's see what the sag is like. Hold on. Here comes. And 26% throttle, 25. Come on. 26, 27, 29, 33, 37, 42, 100%. 36 amps, 44 amps, 48 amps, 52 amps, 53 amps, 54 amps, 54 amps. Oh, and this battery did sag quite a bit. Oh my god, it sagged like crazy. 3.2 it was at for a split second before it started flashing. these are different batteries. The Baby Turtle is on the Tiny Whoop 2S 450s, which I have run hard for months. The battery that was on the Caillou Mini is a lot fresher. And so that's crazy. That's wild that the 1202 and a halves. I mean, it makes sense. This felt better to fly. I think maybe 8,000 kV is just not enough on these 1204s. I will find out when I solder up a set of 1203s to this Caillou Mini that are 10,000 kV. We will see. That'll be a big test. These 8,000s, even just this motor kV, is going to kind of be better for 3S anyway. I could maybe try to put a really pitchy propeller on here, but it's already sagging quite a bit. And it's already it already doesn't have great response time. And so yeah. I will definitely spend a little bit more time before I move this thing over to 3S, because that's a complete pain in the ass, right? I gotta basically redo the entire build. New AIO, which is gonna require me to tear it all the way down. But yeah, I didn't know what to expect. I thought maybe 2S could handle the 1204s, but I was a little bit doubtful because of how bad it sags on 1202 and a half. But now that I see those amp numbers and that battery sag, maybe it just is too low of a KV. But again, if I go higher KV on these 1204s, it's going to sag the battery way, way, way more. And so if I'm going to keep this Caillou Mini on 1204s, it has to go 3S, and I think that is where it's going to go. But before we do that, but because it's heavy, right? Because it's got the giant heavy camera up front, and this Caillou frame is fatter than the Baby Turtle frame. It's like an extra 10 or not quite 10 grams, but it is heavier. GemFan 2520, GemFan 2520. I got these props all mixed up. 2520. 2520. Okay, cool. And then what are these? These are the HQ props? Yeah, these are the HQ 2.5 by 1.9s. Did you even notice a difference in the field of view? This is now the 04 Lite camera that everybody complains about the field of view. Did you even notice? I was telling you to look at the amps. I was telling you to look at the battery sag. And I bet you a lot of you didn't even notice. So yeah, let me throw a set of propellers on this Baby Turtle here real quick. And then it'll have the exact same props as the Caillou Mini. And then we will weigh the two of them. Ah, screw that. I'm not going to make you wait. We're just going to weigh them now. Hold on. I'll just plop the propellers on top of the scale. Because I never got a weight on the Caillou Mini with prop screws, all that stuff. So, hold on. Let's see. Let's take a look here. Oh, you know what I can look at to get clued in on the KV situation is the RPM pulled, because these two are on very, very, very similar propellers. And I did a big full throttle punch out on roughly a fully charged battery. And so I don't think I had any crashes here, but I just want to double check. Okay, so 35,000 RPM from the 1202 and a halves, right? Because there are no other disarms in here, right? Okay, now 35,000. And then we go to the Caillou Mini. So 35,000 to beat. And I think there is a crash in here somewhere. So 35,000 to beat. I could have sworn there was a little crash in here somewhere. Nope. 35,000. So, what does that mean? We've got a 1202 and a half, 11,500 kV, I want to say. 1202 and a half, no, 10,000 kV. And a 1204, 8,000 kV. First and foremost, one motor is by Gep RC, the other motor is by RC and Power. I'll bet you they're both actually made by RC and Power, but KV numbers stamped on the motors don't mean they're not the end of the conversation. The Bando Turtle is 66.3 grams. The Caillou Mini is dry weights. 80.2. So 14 grams heavier, but there's a big difference in motors on here. 1204 versus 1202 and a half. So how is it that the 1204 with 8,000 less kV, I'm sorry, the 1204 at 8,000 kV is turning the same RPM, although with different batteries, than 1202 and a halfs at 10,000 kV. Stator volume. More stator volume is a bigger engine, right? The Caillou Mini's 1204s are a Ford 5-liter engine. These little 1202s are a Honda S2000 2-liter F20 4-cylinder. And so the smaller motor doesn't have as much grunt to spin the propeller up as high, even though it's wound to a higher kV. And so with a somewhat draggy propeller, which these are, 2520 is a draggy propeller for these little motors, you're gonna see that. But what's really interesting is that these 1202 and a halves gave me basically like the same runtime, better flight performance because they're lighter, right? We have less weight out on the ends of the arms and we have less total weight. And so this thing actually felt better with the smaller motors that, sure, they're struggling a little bit. The smaller motors are struggling to get these propellers spun all the way up, right? 10,000 kV versus 8,000 kV. These motors are capable of, what's that, like 20% more RPM if they're matched with a propeller that is not too big and too draggy. And so that's one of the ways that you can tell if you're asking too much from a motor. If you test two motors, one of them is bigger and a lower kV, the other one is smaller and a higher kV, and they're pulling the same amount of RPM, the smaller motor is struggling a little bit. But I still got really good runtime on this. This still ran totally fine, and it actually flew better because it was lighter. And so what I'm pretty sure is actually happening is that this is underpropped. These motors at this kV with this propeller, it's not optimized. It's a little too big of a motor for that propeller with this amount of voltage going through it at this kV. These 1204s, if they were 10,000 kV instead of 8,000 kV, they would perform significantly better, but they would hit the battery even harder. And that fresh 2S450 on there is not necessarily the battery that I want to run on this Caillou Mini. I think I kind of want to run the smaller batteries, the 380 mAh, the 420 mAh. They're actually both 380 mAh. But they'll sag too hard. So, interesting kind of situation here. Going to 3S on the Caillou Mini with the 1204s is going to help with the battery sag. Higher voltage batteries will resist battery sag much better. And so this build on these motors, 8,000 kV 1204s on 3S, now we've got a shitload more RPM. I will probably have to motor limit it down a little bit. 8,000 kV on 3S is the equivalent of 12,000 kV on 2S. So if these RC and Power 1204s were made in 12,000 kV and I ran them on 2S, that would be the same thing as running these 8,000s on 3S. And so 12,000 kV on a 2.5-inch prop is a lot on 2S. That would make mega power. But I would have to run a giant battery. I'd have to run like a 550 mAh 2S at the least, maybe a 650, maybe even an 850. And on this particular frame, that ain't gonna work, right? This frame with this camera, I cannot hang a battery off the front here. It hits this. The battery stops right here. And so for this frame, with powerful motors and 2.5-inch props, in my opinion, 3S is going to be the way to go. To be able to give the response time that I'm looking for, the power that I'm looking for. If I was going to keep this together as it is, I think I would actually put it on 1202.5s. I think 1202.5 motors, which are the lightest possible motor with a 2mm motor shaft below the bell, I think that would be the best bet. The motors are struggling a little bit, but they're very lightweight. This flies better than this. And it has very little to nothing to do with the frames. It has to do with the battery, propeller, all-up weight combination being better optimized than this. This is always going to be a little bit heavier because of the camera and the TPU, but it's that is not what's killing the performance. What's killing the performance of this is a drastically bigger motor. 1204 is a lot, but here, let's look at it. I actually want to see how much bigger it is in the stator volume calculator. So we've got 1202.5, and then we've got 1204. We've got 1204. Holy shit. That's insane. The volume, oh my god, dude. The volume difference is 283 versus 452. And then the surface areas are pretty close. The surface area here is basically telling you how cool the motor is going to run. The more surface area, the more air is going to hit it and cool it down. This surface area here is totally fine. A 1204 motor is a 3-to-1 ratio, right? 4, 8, 12. Perfect 3-to-1 ratio, just like 2207s, right? 7, 14, 21, right next to 22. And so this is a perfectly fine amount of surface area. This is an unusually big amount of surface area for this volume of motor. The 1202.5, right? 1202.5. So 2.5, 5, 7.5, 10, 12.5. It is a 5-to-1 width to height motor in the 1202.5. So that's a motor that's going to run really, really cool, which is kind of great on this build because we're asking a lot of this motor, right? This 10,000 kV motor on basically the same propellers was only able to get the same RPM as these giant 1204s. Because the motor is the motor is a little bit too small, but it's nice and wide, so it's going to stay nice and cool. It's not going to hammer the hell out of the battery because of that, and it's significantly lighter. So this is a really cool comparison between these two. That's not the right button. I haven't done that in a while. What's the... Oh, Jesus. What the hell's happening here? Hold on. Oh, my God. What have I done? Oh, boy. There we go. Oh, shit. Hold up. I've shrunken it down. There we go. All right, I got it. We're good. Everything's fine. I was pushing all the wrong buttons. So yeah, really, really, really cool comparison between these two. I'm pretty surprised at how well these 1202.5s control this weight and drag level of a propeller. But when I back-to-back this with the 2-inch setup, the 2-inch setup is where it's at. These 1202.5s are happiest on a 2-inch propeller. They're kind of perfectly matched with a 2-inch prop. And so that's what I want, right? Like when you get your best flying rig, I guarantee you, has the best balanced motor, prop, voltage, all up weight combination. Those 4 things are what make, and it probably has a decent enough frame where it's not passing a bunch of shit into the gyro, right? And so, yeah, this is a really neat comparison between these two, because this has motors that are too big and a little too low of a KV. This has motors that are a little bit too small and maybe a little too high of a KV. Maybe not, maybe right on. And they both fly very decent. The one with the smaller motors actually flies better, which usually you wouldn't think. Usually you'd be like, nah, the one with the bigger motors that's turning the same RPM is going to fly better. It's not. It's not doing anything with the extra motor size. The extra motor size is not producing more RPM, and so it's wasted. We're just dragging around heavier motors. And a heavier bell, too, right? Like the bell of the motor is a part of the rotating assembly. And so it has to speed up and slow down that bell. And so the weight of the bell here is a part of the reason why the response time is not as good on this. It's also because the KV is just too low. It's not turning enough RPM to take advantage of the size of the motor. So, yeah, if I could magically give these motors 2,000 extra KV, we would turn a significantly higher RPM here, but we would be just annihilating these 2S batteries, right? Instead of coming down at 110 degrees Fahrenheit, these batteries, they'd come down at 120 or 130, and it would, and you know, we would start to hurt the lipos significantly. So, yeah, super interesting set of testing today. This does not fly bad in this setup by any stretch of the imagination. And after a couple of batteries, I was like, oh, that's not bad. That's okay. And then I flew this, and I was like, oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, this flies better. And it's not because of the frame. Same size battery, 2S450. This one's BT 3.0, so like technically this should fly worse because BT 3.0 is not quite as efficient as XT30. But yeah, no, these RC and Power 1204s want 3S. The size of the stator, the KV that they are, 3S is the right voltage for these motors. And that's what I had this on. These motors came off of a toothpick that was on 3S that absolutely blasted. Like, it was crazy. But yeah, this current setup is not quite right, but we'll get it quite right. We just won't do that this week. The next 2 days are completely taken up by me prepping for Tulsa Tough, a 3-day live broadcast event in Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? Tulsa, Oklahoma? Yeah. So I'm going to be absolutely sweating my balls off for 3 days in a row. Last year it was like over 100 degrees all 3 days. It's excruciating. I will never live in Oklahoma. I can't. It's that is just a climate that makes Georgia look like nothing this early in the season. Like, we'll get there. Like in a month, it'll be excruciating here in Georgia. But like for the beginning of June to be over 100 degrees in Tulsa it's a bit much. I couldn't believe it last year. I was like, is this real life? It's really this hot here? What the hell are you doing? So yeah. Whoop Wednesday live stream will be like Cinewhoop Wednesday. And then I fly out on Thursday. Thursday is a travel day. I work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday is a travel day as well, which is really nice. Last year, they hadn't worked with me before, and so they were being a little cautious on their budget, and there wasn't quite enough budget for me to have 2 travel days. Travel days are half-day rate. And they were like, hey, you know, can we do anything to get the budget down? And I said, look, why don't I just take like an early morning flight one of those 2 days to get rid of one of those half-day rates. And that was luckily just enough. And so I forget if I flew in. I think I flew out. Yeah, that's what it was. Sunday after the event, I went straight to the airport and just flew right out. This will be really nice Sunday night to get to like actually celebrate with everybody on the crew, and then get some goddamn sleep and fly out on Monday. So yeah, no live stream on Friday or Sunday. Monday there should be one though. I should be fine. I should get home in plenty of time to live stream next Monday night. But yeah, Friday and Sunday you're on your own, friends. In the chat, Danzilla Terrible was first. Skull 901 was next. Jules, Dead. I'm just gonna call you Dead because I can't pronounce that because I'm twat. Double Jose, Frank Dr. Nicholas Portals N, Jamie Flies FPV, Fizz PV, Drublick Mike, Dagool, Whoop Fox, B Mud Skipper, Smirk Station, CRC Fab with a $1.99 super chat. He says, Clam Man, I wish I could play Clam Man for you, but somebody copyrighted it, and so anytime you play Clam Man now, you get copyright donged. Sear FPV, B Mud Skipper, Solo FPV, Brandon's Baked Beans, Jimmy the Cow, mooing up a storm, no doubt. B Kirk, I haven't said no doubt in forever, Jesus. P Money, Cole FPV, Whoopie, Brandon's Baked Beans again, WK, Fizz, Smirk, Julio, Capital C, King Crimson. Did I get everybody? I think I might have gotten everybody. Ryan Sadat, Tom Rides, Denzel the Terrible. Cool. I think I got everybody. Giveaways get rolling in, Jesus Christ, 3 minutes. How is it 10:57 already? I guess we looked at some stuff. Did we want to look at a black box log? Let's look at a black box log real quick. I did one quick log. I might have done this log with the 1303s on there. I did. We're not going to look at this log because this is the log with the 1303s, and it was flying like a box of smashed assholes with those motors on it. There was something wacky about those motors. So yeah, that is where, for the time being, until next week, this story ends. I'm not going to spend any time tomorrow or Wednesday with these two guys. I'm going to bring this baby turtle with me and screw around with it here and there to like do site testing runs and whatnot. But I'm not going to do anything else with it. Yeah, I think this is the log from the 1303s. So we should see some really weird shit here. Hold on. Let me put this in RC command. Let's see. Maybe this wasn't with the 1303s. Actually, hold on. Let me just go back to overview. And let me just let this play and see what this thing's doing. Just looking at the commands to the motors to see if any of the commands like really spike. No, maybe... I don't know. We got to do a full round of testing with the Caillou Mini though, and so we'll jump into that next week. I'm not sure if that's a log that's worth looking at. Matter of fact, I'm gonna delete that log because I'm just not sure what it's from. Continue and empty trash and cool. So yeah, the Caillou Mini is not coming with me. It's not in a place that's quite good enough yet. This guy is gonna come. These motors are well matched enough with these propellers. I might actually move this down to the Gemfan 2512 propeller. I should probably not have swapped these propellers onto it, but yeah, the 2512 propeller. Less draggy than the 2520, and so a better match for these little motors. And so, yeah, I will probably do that. That was kind of silly, but whatever. So yeah, Caillou Mini's alive, but it needs a little bit of loving. Baby Turtle's coming with me to Tulsa, as well as all of the live broadcast stuff. And maybe the last couple of minutes before the live stream start, the giveaways start. By the way, if you want to get on 3 of the 4 giveaways, you have to be a patron. You have a couple of minutes because I want to show you this real quick. The $5 and up tiers. There's a Tiny Whoop and Toothpick $5 a month tier. There's a 3-inch micro brushless and Cinewhoop $10 a month tier. There's a $15 a month 5-inch tier. If you're on any one of those tiers, or if you want to get entered into all 3 of the giveaways every first Monday of the month, you don't have to be on the live streams. It just happens automatically. You can join the, there's a $1 a day tier that you can join, and that'll enter you into everything. And so, yeah, we're going to get the giveaways going in a minute. There's a 4th giveaway that we do that's open to anybody. So if you don't want to join the Patreon for some reason, you can still gamble your life savings away. My Frame version 0.02 with the split base plate is alive again. It's now got an HD0 Gamma in it. These motors are Oddity RC Spinny Boys 1405. That's a big motor. 4800 kV. These motors are what killed that Toon RC Poly, because I put this up in the air today with the motors at 100% motor limiting, and it was absurd. 4800 kV is a lot on 4S, but I think that these motors might be a little bit underspec'd because, Jesus. Oh, and it looks like it's rattling motor screws out. There's only one motor screw left on this motor. That's sketchy. And so, yeah, I have now motor limited it to 90%, and it was still making tons of power. And then I motor limited it down to 80%, and it started to feel right. And so, yeah, that Toon RC Poly was a casualty of just motors that were too powerful. And like a big old 4S 550 or 850 mAh battery is going to like really hammer. And so, yeah, I'm almost tempted to try another Toon RC Poly AIO. But, it doesn't have ELRS built in. Shit. If that AIO had ELRS built in, I would do that on the Caillou Mini. But it does not. I'll find one. So yeah, I got this back up in the air today. It absolutely hammers. Like, 3-inch, big weight. This thing is like sub 200 grams, just barely. It is something effing else, man. It's just absurd. It is really wild. The difference between, I mean, I guess it's kind of obvious, but when you double the weight, but also damn near double the power. I didn't do a full throttle hit because I saw the amps climb so fast when I did a little throttle stab there that I was like, hold on. And then so I just kind of limped it around for a little bit and did like quick little throttle hits to see how bad the sag was. And I pretty quickly realized like this is too much. And so I think this is me coming in. Yeah, so this is me. That was it on 100%. Now I'm coming in and bringing it down to 90, and then I come in again and bring it down to 80. Let's actually look real quick. So there's 54 amps, but I had already come off of full throttle. I saw the amps shoot up, and I was like, "Whoa, hold on!" and I didn't. There's 57 amps from like a partial and look a low battery warning, and so yeah, at 100% throttle, it's too much. Let's look at what the RPM is when I land here. 40,000 RPM on 3-inch propellers. That's a lot. That's a lot. Is it giving me a max current? Max current 57 amps. So yeah, that's a bit much. So I came in, I turned it down to 90%, and I think I did another decent full throttle hit here. No, not really. Did I do it over here? I think I did it over here. I think I just saw a 1. No, not quite. I think it just still felt too powerful. Oh, right. Yeah, it was acting a little funny. The 04 was acting a little funny. It's a miracle that this 04 still works. This is the one that caught on fire. There was a split second at 99% throttle, but I didn't sit it there long enough. So this is still 90% throttle. Here goes. Here's 100% throttle, but look at the sag, 3.35 volts. You can't see it. It's right here, but it's 3.35 volts. 3.39 there. Jesus Christ. And it hit 45 amps even with the battery sagging that low. And we're a minute and 45 into the flight. So I think that was when I landed one more time and turned it down. Or maybe I already did. I don't know. But, yeah, flies really good. But these motors are animals. These motors might be a bit much for this. These are 1405. That's a really big stator. 4800 kV is a lot. This might be a better motor for a really aggressive 2.5-inch build. The motors are a high enough kV for its smaller propeller, but the yeah, they have enough kV. The stator might be a little too big though, but yeah. J8R2T says, have you tried 1106 motors on 2-inch or 2.5-inch? So, J8, the most important thing you're going to learn tonight is about the ratio of width to height on motors. The width of the motor allows it to run cool. The wider the motor, the more airflow it gets. And your motor's staying cool is incredibly important. When magnets get hot, they stop being magnetic, and the voltage that you're sending to the motor just turns into heat. It does not turn into thrust at all. And it's like, it gets exponentially worse. And so there is a ratio with all motors of how wide they are versus how tall they are. This is a model of an 0702. 2 millimeters tall, 7 millimeters wide. So what we do is we take the height, the smaller number, and we just add it to itself. So 0702. So we take the 2 and we go 2, 4, 6, 8. So in between 3 and 4 is the 7, right? 2, 4, 6, 8. And so an 0702 has a ratio of 3.5 to 1. That is a good ratio. That is, we want to keep, if you look at 5-inch rigs, right? 2207 is a super popular motor. 7, 14, 21. 21 is right next to 22. Basically 3 to 1. The other really popular 5-inch motor, 2306. 6, 12, 18, 24. 24 is right next to 23. 4 to 1 height to width ratio. 2306 motors are very repeatable. Every time you hit full throttle, they give you the same amount of power because they're 4 to 1, which is wider, and so they stay cooler. They are, but they don't make quite as much power. The stator height makes more, extra stator height makes more power than extra stator width. And so the 2207s, the racing motors, make more power, but they get hotter because they're not quite as wide. And so with a 2207, if you were just full throttle and the motor got really hot and you came off the throttle and you went full throttle again, you're not going to get the full power that you might expect when it's cool, right? And so one of the really nice things about 2306s, especially like for freestyle, is that every time you go full throttle, you get the exact same amount of power. And so when you're shooting tiny little gaps or you're coming down from a massive dive or something like that, you're always going to get the exact same amount of power. That's what you get from 4 to 1. You get it from 3 to 1, but it starts to get a little hairy. You asked me about 1106 motors. The answer to your question is yes. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, 1105, 1106 motors were all the rage before we knew what was what. And I tried loads and loads and loads of them. And they would always cook your batteries, and they would cook themselves. They would get really hot. And the reason is 1106. So we take the 6 and we add it to itself, and we can only do that one time before we get to 12, which is more than 11. So an 1106 motor is 2-to-1 ratio. And so that's a motor that's going to run too hot. It's not wide enough to offset the amount of power that it makes. So when you go full throttle, you're going to get like a split second of its full power, and then it's going to heat soak, and you're just going to piss away a bunch of battery energy and just turn it into heat. And if you get back off the throttle quick enough, you won't blow anything up, but your ESC is going to hate you. The motor itself is going to hate you. The windings are going to start to cook the enamel coating. And it's just not going to be a rig that flies great. An 1106 motor doesn't really make any sense anywhere. A 1407 motor doesn't really make any sense anywhere. You'll notice that nobody runs 1407s or 1507s or 1106s anymore, because we've realized this. And we've realized that we need 3 millimeters width at least to every 1 millimeter of height. You look at a Cinewhoop, right? A 3-inch Cinewhoop that carries a fucking massive camera for a 3-inch propeller, right? Normally, for a 130-gram GoPro Hero, we would build a 5-inch rig with massive, efficient 5-inch propellers. Well, if we want to carry that heavy of a camera on a little 3-inch prop, what we have to do, and what you'll see on all the Cinewhoops now, is really wide motors, 2004, 2204. So I run 2104 motors on mine. So 2104, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, right? 5-to-1 width to height. A very wide motor, it's going to be in the airflow, it's going to stay nice and cool, and it needs that because it's picking up a giant heavy-ass camera with a little 3-inch propeller. And so that's the best flying Cinewhoops have these really wide 5-to-1, typically, sometimes even 6-to-1 ratio motors. The Avata 2, the Avata 1, that yaw shit that they do where they fall out of the air, that's because they're on a 1507 motor, I believe it is. It's a motor that's not wide enough to offset the extra height. Here's the thing, though. DJI designs their own software and everything, and so they digitally limit those motors down to make sure that they don't get too hot and overheat, right? The flight performance difference between a real Cinewhoop and an Avata, even the Avata 2, is mega. Like, the Avata 2 is an incredible tool, but if you push it hard and fly it fast, it falls apart, right? It's not a proper FPV rig. It's a glorified camera drone. Having a motor that's too tall, it ends up being a lighter weight motor. Like I told you before, the height of the motor, increasing the height of the motor makes more power than increasing the width. Increasing the width adds a lot of weight, and it adds a lot of repeatability, but it doesn't add a lot of power. So what DJI realized is that they can make the motor a little bit taller, digitally limit it so it doesn't cook itself or the flight control, the ESC, and you can have a lighter weight motor that can get a big burst of power. You can burst for a split second, and that nice tall motor will give you a hit of power, and then they can sort of digitally limit it and pull that back so that nothing bad happens. And so from an efficiency standpoint, a taller motor is actually better, but you can't go full throttle for more than a split second. And, doing that manually yourself versus, a billion-dollar company or whatever doing it, that's going to be tough. And so there you go. You just learned something today. Super important. Like, if you get a good prop and motor setup where the motors stay nice and cool, it makes a huge difference. You get better runtime, better flight performance, better everything. The best flying quads have perfectly matched motors to propellers to battery to all up weight, and the motors stay nice and cool. Brandon Sweat Beans got paid using an Avata 2 today. The Avata 2 is a brilliant tool. Brilliant. But it can't touch the flight performance of a proper Cinewoop. But if somebody was to come to me and schedule a Fiverr session for build planning, and they asked me, hey, what Cinewoop should I build? This has actually happened to me before. For real estate fly-throughs or certain other things, a lot of times the answer is Avata 2, unfortunately, especially if it's somebody new. If you're new to FPV and like you're not a seasoned builder, it's really hard to try to book gigs and build something that's going to be reliable enough to allow you to continue booking gigs and not have shit that falls out of the air or just doesn't work because you have one of the 10,000 annoying little settings not quite right in Betaflight. FPV, like real FPV, as we call it, you're looking at like a year of just being into FPV as a hobby to try to just get a handle on all the shit and to have any chance of being able to troubleshoot it when it inevitably goes wrong on site, or any number of things that kind of happen. And so, yeah, when I do Fiverr calls with absolutely brand new people that like want to get into filmmaking, it's like, even like a proper FPV bind and fly, I don't think is the answer, because like, yeah, sure, you don't have to handle the build, but like something's gonna go wrong with it. Like FPV is just things constantly going wrong, and without a year plus experience troubleshooting this stuff, you got no chance. You got no shot. And, Facebook groups and Reddit give you the worst answers possible. AI just basically does the same thing because it's pulling a lot of its info from the worst answers ever on Reddit and, and Facebook groups. So, yeah. All right. Well, here's the problem. I'm supposed to be doing giveaways right now, but the chat is filled. Let me go through the chat as quick as I can. Jamie Flies FPV says, hi. FizzPV says, question about Betaflight being... about the Betaflight beginning PID settings from yesterday. Is that for carbon frames only, or will that work for a starting point on an Air 275 frame? I set absolutely everything that I build up exactly the same. So yeah, tiny whoops to the 7-inch rig. I do the same thing as that first pass, and then I'm just really careful on the maiden to make sure it doesn't fly away. It is definitely safer to leave Betaflight the hell alone and put it up in the air and make sure nothing bad happens. Jules says, I'm waiting to build or use my Meteor 75 Pro with the 04 for RC drift car chasing. Very cool. Any canopies or changes you recommend? Main recommendation would be to build smaller and lighter. I've been chasing RC drift cars for over 2 years. I've done easily probably almost 1,000 batteries at this point. I've tried a ton of different setups, and always lightweight is the answer. Chasing anything that grips the ground, even if it's tire spinning, it's still gripping a physical object, right? Versus us trying to grip against this fucking air that keeps moving out of the way, right? You gotta be super lightweight, because something that's gripping against another surface is gonna change direction so much faster. And so lightweight is absolutely everything for these. And so, yeah, biggest recommendation is going to be to bail on the 75 and go to a 65. And you're just going to cut weight absolutely everywhere. This is the God build for doing this. This is like, yeah, lots and lots and lots of development. It is a Cockroach 65 V3 frame, which has these really cool little plastic hooks molded into it. And then you can buy this camera mount on my Etsy store, or you can dig through my 3D printing text channel on my Discord. It's in there somewhere. And then the lightest weight AIO that you can possibly find the latest weight motors you can get, which are 0702s. These are happy models for a little bit more runtime, and these are 32,500 from Weebleed. And then whatever props you like. I'm a huge fan of the HQ Ultralight 1.2 by 0.9 by 3s. And then a very lightweight antenna. And yeah, this is how to do it. This outperforms everything by like orders of magnitude. It is wild how much better this is than even something that's like even 1 or 2 grams makes a big difference. Oh, the other thing that I did on this that was a smaller change is I spun the flight controller around so that I could run the battery lead out the front, because when we put batteries in these things, the batteries always shift the center of gravity forward because we push the battery all the way in. Well, I can't on this one because the plug is in the way, but there we go. So more of that battery is in the front right now. Well, we've also got a 3D printed chunk and the camera up front. So if I were to, when I had it like this, it was very front heavy. The CG was very nose heavy. And so by flipping the flight controller around, I can now run the battery. I can push the battery in from the front. And so now more of the battery is in the rear to offset the weight of the camera in the front. And so now the CG is significantly better. It is almost perfectly balanced CG. So yeah, there you go. There are my recommendations. That rig that you've got will absolutely work. But if you want to like get down, you know, a half an inch off the ground and stay there and like stay in between these guys as they transition side to side, whoo, that shit's hard. You'll see. It's unbelievably difficult. And so the biggest thing is going to be stick time. The biggest thing with chasing RC drift cars, hands down, is just doing it as often as you can. You bring as many batteries as you can, and you just put the fucking hours in. I used to go every single Thursday, and I would fly 30-plus batteries every Thursday for almost a year. It is just very hard. But the rig does absolutely matter, and shaving the weight down as low as you possibly can helps quite a bit. And then, also putting the camera all the way up front as low as you can makes a big difference too, because if this is the ground and you're flying with like a regular 75mm rig, the lowest you can possibly get has your camera like a full inch up in the air here. See how high that camera is? Versus picture the camera being in between the front ducts like on that one. Look how low that camera is, right? So I can literally scrape the ground with my camera. And why that matters is that your perception of how high you are when the camera is an inch off the ground versus when the camera is a millimeter off the ground, it looks totally different in the goggles. And so having the camera up front as low as you can, when you get super low to the ground, you see it. Like the floor comes up and it comes up and it comes up and it almost comes up to here. And you're like, yeah, that's low. Whereas with a regular camera mount, the floor is only going to be here. And so you've only got this little amount of space to catch yourself. So there's another big tip for chasing the RC drift cars. Whoopi says, in defense of the Caillou Mini, the creator had analog in mind when making it, not necessarily 04. I do love it as a 2S04 build, though. Yeah, it's a great frame. It's a great frame. There's nothing wrong with it. Do I wish the top plate was a little bit longer? Maybe, but like then you would have to push the camera farther forward, and that would wreck some of the performance. So I don't know. I think it's fine. I think the it's really, really good. It's just we're trying to do shit with it that, and I mean I've seen people do 3S with it. Like it's not unheard of, and so yeah. B-Mud Skipper says hello. He also says, Tune RC, Poly F4, 522-4S, Gep RC Taker, 20 amp, iFlight Blitz. What are these? What are you listing out, B-Mud Skipper? Solo says, what's good, dude? Portal's End says, question what you think of the Caddx Farsight / Gazer cameras. Think about making a long-range cruiser and have never used anything but basic analog cams. Was wondering if you had advice. My main advice would be to, if you're going to do something long range, is to not go with like a wacky camera system. Go with a camera system that we all know works really well, which sort of is analog. Most long range pilots still fly analog. That's for good reason. So yeah, I if you're going to go with something not analog, I would go with old school DJI Vistas. They're fucking bomb proof. The range is great. They work. They always work. They never don't work. And so, yeah, I would stay away from, and to be honest, Caddx stuff, it's just not as reliable, right? Like, DJI is a massive company that was able to pour tons of time and resource and money and energy into into their stuff. Walk Snail, Caddx, they're not. They're a tiny little company. And so the reliability factor of Caddx and Walk Snail stuff is nowhere near DJI. So that's my recommendation. Jimmy the Cow says the Caillou Mini. Okay, so same thing. B. Kirk says, did you see the Carbon Fury that Nick Burns reviewed today? I did indeed. I'm blown away that it didn't leave marks all over his walls. That makes me very curious about it. It is still going to be very slidey, though, and I don't like slidey rigs like that indoors. So I still don't think it makes sense for indoor flying. But, yeah, very interesting. I think that setup with 04 Lite is really, really interesting. I've been pushing Atreides to do that, and he has. And so we'll see where that thing goes. Cole says, when you hit the wall for a motor, increase voltage and lower kV, you hit the wall as the prop gets bigger / draggier. It's true. Whoopi says, I run mine with 1103, 11,000 kV, and I feel like it rips. I'm only a year into the hobby, though, so maybe I'm unable to identify when the drone is struggling, LOL. It's taken me 10 years, so you got a ways to go, Whoopi. That's okay, though. Dude, and like, look, if you think something rips, don't let me tell you that it doesn't. Fucking go enjoy it, right? Like, every single one of us has a completely different idea of what a good flying quad is, and that's okay, right? Like, I am by no means trying to like disparage anything that any of you are flying. I have impossibly high standards because I've been doing this for a decade and it's my full-time job. And, you know, the more insane I am, the better it is for everyone because it makes me test more stuff and you know, be more sensitive about the testing. But yeah, FPV is about having fun. So go have fun with it. The stuff that I say, yeah, it'll get you flying something that flies even better. But like, you know, I drive a fucking Mazda 2. Like, it's really lightweight, but it's like a shitty car. But it's good enough for me, and it's fucking fine. You know, there's other people that drive the newest Lambo and go, oh, this thing is garbage. The Lambo from 2 years ago is so much better. And right, and so it's like, well, how good is good enough for you, right? There's no, like, yeah. Sporty says, I agree, but all my 04s already have 03 lenses now. Nice. Nothing wrong with that. Smirk Station says, what bind and fly ELRS 2 or 2.5 inch is good to buy analog freestyle under $200 with batteries if possible? I have no idea, man. I don't get sent anything for review, and I can't afford to buy these bind and flies. So I don't have any idea of what any of the bind and flies are. My deal is teaching you guys how to spec these things out and how to do custom builds that are going to be absolutely perfect for your specific situation. How hard you fly, where you fly, what you crash into, how often you crash, what kind of runtime you're looking for, what kind of power you're looking for, what video system you're dragging around, what you're doing with that video when you're done with it. That's what I do. Nick Burns gets sent most of the bind and flies, so he's probably your best bet for bind and fly. But if you really want to learn how these things work and how to like identify something that's gonna fly really good for exactly you, stick around because I'll teach you exactly how to do that. King Crimson says, what's that thing you use that splits your barrel connector and fan connector on your goggles? Oh, yeah. So that is a Fat Shark switch that FPV Geek created many years ago that basically no longer exists. And so, yeah, you plug your battery into it, and then it just gives you a switch. It does give you a little battery warning here as well, but I have tape over it because it's really bright. But yeah, you can push a button and it tells you how charged the battery is. But yeah, FPV Geek made this so that you don't have to constantly unplug this barrel plug every time you turn your goggles off and on, because that eventually wears out the goggle side barrel plug. And so, yeah, Ron, FPV Geek made these many years ago. But yeah, you won't be able to find one. I think I have 2 of them, and it was a struggle to find that second one. Although Ron sent them to me originally, I helped him out a little bit because there were some problems with it, and I helped him troubleshoot the problems with his manufacturer. So FPV Geek is actually a perfect example of why making a product in FPV or just in general is maybe not a great idea. Ron was very into FPV. He decided to make a product. As happens a lot of times when you make a product, a manufacturing problem happened. Not his fault at all. It turned into a massive nightmare. It cost him a ton of money, all the money that he'd made and then some. And at the end of it all, he was just so burned out from all of it that he has not flown FPV since. And he was a great guy. And yeah, that was hard. But making products can go really bad really fast, right? You make something, you sell a whole shitload of them, you send a couple hundred of them out, and something happens, and they don't work. And on your goggles, when your goggles shut off mid-flight, that ain't good. And so then you just got to eat it. You just got to eat that, right? There's nobody else that's going to eat all that money and take all those back and refund or send a whole new set out, right? And so you're fucked. So yeah. Capital C says, I have found that the Caillou Minis really come alive on 3S. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. Julio says, I just transferred a Bravo 20 Pro AIO and motors to a Caillou Mini with an 04 light with 3S. It rips. Very cool. Sporny says, what batteries are you running on the 2.5 rigs? I found the Lava 580s really balance out the sag I had with the smaller 420s. 380, 420, which is the same battery, and 450. The Lava 580s are way too long. They hang way off the back of that Caillou Mini. It's not a realistic battery to run. Ryan Sadat says, happy Monday. Yuke says, I've been loving the 1S Baby Turtle. Thing is fast outside compared to what I'm used to, and the momentum it carries is super fun. Love it. Yep, you can absolutely build them 1S. You just got to get a good sized motor. Tom Ride says, what's the all-up weight of your frame build? Is it a 3-inch? It is a 3-inch. All-up weight is like 199. It's like right on 200. J8, we talked about that. Sear says, Kakute G4 AIO 35 amp ESC AM32 AIO consideration for replacing what you talked about earlier in the stream. Kakute, who's that? Holy Bro? Thank you for that. I'm going to open up a tab here and look that AIO up after the live stream. Yeah, that is Holy Bro. Very cool. Cole says, does it comfort you to know that if this whole FPV thing goes tits up, you could always have a career as a remedial math teacher? No, it does not. Sporny says, or a handheld gimbal. Yeah, and referencing home tours. Home tours are dominated by handheld gimbals. Capital C says, you have a much better shot making it in the FPV world if you join Ciotti's Discord. Boy, is that the truth. Tom Ride says, every time I hear you say shrimp wrap, I picture Vietnamese spring rolls. And then Whoopi says, appreciate you. Cool. Now we can do the goddamn giveaways. I literally have to get caught up on the chat before we do the giveaways because we use the chat for the 4th giveaway. So you've had plenty of time to join my Patreon at the $5 or up tiers so that you can get in on either one or all 3 of these first 3 giveaways. So I have to click a bunch of buttons to get the first 3 giveaways set up. And while I'm clicking those buttons, I'm going to play some of your guys' flight footage. Over on my Discord in the Patreon only section, there is a text channel called The Video Collective, because we used to call ourselves The Collective, like the Borg. Shared consciousness style, yo. In there, you can put your flight footage, and then people will watch it and subscribe to your channel and browbeat you into making more flight footage, because nobody does it anymore. And so the most recent 3 edits in there, I'm going to play while I'm waiting for things to happen here. And so just give me one more second. I'm getting that going right now. Where's the Video Collective? There it is. So we're going to get a little bit of off-axis. And I do have to mute these. I've got a really fun song that CiottiFPV made. We're going to get a little bit of Don E. And there's another off-axis. And then CiottiFPV. All right. These 3 are somewhat queued up. And I'm just waiting for... fuck this up. Hold on. Okay. One more second here. I'm almost there. Okay. That's good to go. 1, 2, 3. Click this button. And I just got to click one more button here. I need to pull this over here. This process used to be way, way, way easier. And then recently Patreon did something that really screwed this up for me. But I like to do this right now to give you all an hour to join the Patreon if you want to get in on that night's giveaways. Okay, so this is good here. I got these over here. Here comes my email. I need to click in here a couple times. So this is going to go into this folder. So I need to bring this guy over here as well. Okay, so downloads. Download is ready. Oh, God damn you. Yeah, no, hold on. I have to... Why are you doing this? Why did they do this? Jesus Christ on a cracker. Hold on, let me try clicking this. Okay, so that's done. I might literally have to do this, start doing this whole thing like exactly the way we're doing it right now. Okay, no. That's good. Okay. Oh, that one's there. Delete this. Almost there. Hold on. Yep, there's that one. And then the last one coming up. Save. All right. And so if I just do that. Cool. All right. Got it. Got it. So enjoy this awesome song by CiottiFPV while we get this going. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hit this, and I'm going to pull this back over here so that this song can play. And so it's the giveaway song. Where's that giveaway song? There it is. Giveaway music, and you're going to lose my audio, but you're going to gain a hysterical song by CiottiFPV. I will be back with the giveaways all set up.
Well, hello there, Gangly Gang. Welcome to CiottiFPV's monthly giveaway. The only stream where the props spin fast, the motors hum sweet, and the giveaways. Oh, honey, they're hotter than a soldering iron on a Sunday morning. Deal round one, tiny whoop tease. Let's start small, shall we? Our tiny whoop tier, the pocket rockets, the bedroom flyers, the ones who know how to keep it tight in tight spaces. One lucky pilot's about to get a little package that'll make the ducks flutter and the goggles fogger.
Size isn't everything, sugar.
But it sure helps when you're flying through lampshades.
We're round 2.
3-inch thrill. Next up, the 3-inch tier, the mid-range lovers, the backyard acrobats, the ones who like a little wiggle with their throttle is prize. Oh, it's got curves, baby, motors, frames, maybe even a little something to tickle your ESCs.
Not too big, not too small.
Just right for a little afternoon delight.
4 round 3.
5-inch full send.
4 round 3.
5-inch full send. Now we're talking full size, full send, full fantasy. The 5-inch tier, you like it loud, proud, and upside down. This giveaway's got thrust, baby. It's got punch. It's got the kind of gear that'll make your neighbors peek over the fence and say, "What is that buzzing?"
Careful now.
This one's got enough power to blow your canopy clean off.
5th bonus round.
Super chat time. And for all you gorgeous viewers out there who just dropped in for a little love,
Don't be shy.
$5 super chat or a sweet little PayPal tip gets you into the open giveaway. No strings, no tears, just pure, unfiltered FPV affection. $5 never felt so good, did it?
All right, we've teased, we've tickled, and now it's time to reveal who's getting lucky tonight. We're flipping the switch, spinning the props, and letting fate do the dirty work.
Don't be shy.
As always, a 10! A fucking 10! I forgot to drop the links to those 3 YouTube videos in the chat. I usually do that. But you can go to the Video Collective and grab them from in there. Okay, so here we go. I got everything set up. Up first is... Hold on. Let me make this a little bigger here. Get it to not bleed over the OBS window. Cool. Up first is the $5 a month Tiny Whoop tier giveaway. All 4 of these giveaways, you're going to get CiottiFPV branded M&Ms. Who else do you know that has M&Ms with their website on them? Just me. I'm the only one. Tons of stickers. iGow 6, big and small. The We Bleed Band-Aids, which are unbelievably cool. Lots more stickers. CMYK. Northeast Whoop Championship. iGow 5, last year's iGow. We Bleed Holographic. That We Bleed. Broken Prop Crew. FBI Man. Garbage Pail Kids. We Bleed Man. Build, Fly, Crash, Destroy. Repeat. Vegan. Jimmy the Cow. I'm not going to show you those stickers again because they come in the... you get this full sticker pack in the 4th giveaway as well. The middle 2 giveaways just have a couple stickers. And then we've got the very cool We Bleed propeller case. These are absolutely essential. And a brand new set of the brand new We Bleed 340s with little leads on them. Zotek very kindly sent these over. And there they are. So they're his brand new 340s, but they've got the little lead on them for in case you want the battery like that. I believe these are now the lightest 300 mAh. Well, they're 340 mAh. But yeah, I think that little lead is a little bit lighter than that plastic bastard. And so this is the Tiny Whoop giveaway. Let's see who's going to win it. By pulling this up here, and we're going to hit submit, and we've got all these tickets here. The goat is ready. Let's see who wins. There are too many names for me to pick any of them out. Ryan Horton is up there by motor 4. Brett H is down by motor 3. Down by motor 1, we've got Zotek from Weebleed. Everybody is getting blown away. Everybody that I just said got blown away. Who's left? Royal. Congratulations, you have won. Let me write your name down here real quick. Looks like it's a 7. ROYA 7, I believe. ROYA. I think that's a 7. Is that a 7 or is that a 1? I think I can just search for ROYA and it'll find it. Congrats, Royal. Up next is the $10 a month 3-inch micro brushless giveaway. We've got the M&Ms. We've got a different sticker pack, Jimmy the Cow, and then some totally random weirdo like Marvel stickers. We've got a couple of quad side XT30s. And then we've got arguably my favorite analog camera of all time. It's hard to see this one go, but I do have 2 more of these. This is the Runcam Micro Eagle. This is such a cool FPV camera. One of the coolest things about this is that you can put a lens on this. I used to know the lens offhand. RC25G might be the lens. But there is a lens for this that'll give you like 170 degrees field of view. It's crazy. If you win this and you want to know what that lens is, just ask me and I'll figure it out for you. But I have a funny feeling it's RC25G. I can't believe I remember that. That is what it is. That is the lens. And so yeah, that is our micro brushless and toothpick giveaway. This is actually the last. I have to buy some stuff for this giveaway starting next month. I've run out of 3-inch micro brushless stuff. I wonder if I can start doing like open prop 2.5-inch stuff for this giveaway. I don't know. We'll see. I'll figure something out. Here we go. Here's everybody. There's all the tickets. The goat's ready. Oh! What a satisfying scream. Jesus. Bill B is off on the left hanging in. CiottiFPV is right next to him. Michael Julio is top left. None of them have gotten blown away yet. Oh shit. Kevin Sumner just got blown away before my very eyes. Rodney is off on the left. He's gone. It was somebody hiding under. Roasted peanuts is one. Roasted peanuts. Congratulations. Let me make sure I spell that right so I can find you in Patreon to grab your address. MAROASTED penis. PENIS. That's not actually what it is. It's peanuts, but I'm a child. What do you want from me? Can I read that? Roasted peanuts. Got it. 5-inch giveaway is, again, a prop extravaganza. We've got the M&Ms. We've got the same sticker pack from a second ago. But then we have a big old bag of 5-inch props. I'm seeing some GemFan 5130s, some Hurricane 5146 6s. There's some Bi-Blades in here even. There's some Hurricane 5149s, looks like 2 or 3 sets. I can't see what these orange ones are, but yeah, as many props as I can basically fit into this, which should be all of these. And so, here we go with the 5-inch tier. Let's see who's gonna win. Marcel Robert is down there on the left hanging in. Kevin Sumner just got blown away again. Patrick Scott's right on top of motor 4. Zotek from Weebleed is all the way on the top there. Looks like David is gone. Bill B is on the right there. He got blown away. Marcel Robert, off-axis FPV. You have won, my friend. Congrats. We'll send this on out to you. Marcel. He was the first video that we were watching that I accidentally left on forever. But it ended up working out. That intro song lasts a while. Cool. This next giveaway is open to anyone. It's $5 a ticket. You can do a super chat, or you can go to CiottiFPV.com and hit the PayPal button. PayPal doesn't take any percent. Super chat's like 30% gets taken, but it's all good. Whichever way you want to do it, $5 per ticket. You can buy as many tickets as you want. My dad sent $20 last month, and I didn't see it. And the deal was the first 4 people in the chat got entered. The problem with that is I need the people to still be here. So that should be Danzilla, Skull901, Jules, and Dead, I'm gonna call you. If any of you 4 are here, you need to type at CiottiFPV right now, because I need you to actually be here. If one of those 4 people is not here, the next person's going to be Double O Zay. If we still don't have 4, it's going to be Frank Nicholas. If we still don't have 4, it's going to be Portal's End. So Danzilla, type at CiottiFPV. Skull901, type at CiottiFPV. Jules, type it. Dead, type it. And if we don't get it from all 4 of those, it'll be Double O Zay. Cool? Skull901 is here. So I'm going to put him in right now. Skull901. Okay, cool. Off Axis says Danzilla is in bed. That's okay. I have Danzilla's address. So we're good. I can put Danzilla in here. The reason I need you guys here is I need your addresses. Patreon forces you to put your address in so I can actually ship it to you. Without that, I'm chasing you around nowhere because YouTube gives us no way of getting in touch with anyone that doesn't have a channel. And even if you do have a channel, the only way to talk to that person is to leave a comment on one of their videos. It's so stupid. Portal's End says, Dead is me. Awesome. You are in here, my friends. So we got Skull901, Danzilla, and Portal's End. Who are we waiting for? Jules. Jules, are you here? If Jules is not here, Double O Zay, are you still here? If Double O Zay is not here, Frank, are you still here? Oh shit, Jimmy the Cow going for 5 tickets. I'm just going to start randomly adding people. Jimmy the Cow, thank you for the support, brother. You are getting... Oh boy, come on. There we go. You are getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Frank is here. So it's Double O Zay or Jules. Jules or Double O Zay. Are you guys here? Okay, cool. I got Jimmy the Cow. Dagul with a $4.99 super chat. He says monthly free stuff try. You got it, brother. Thank you for the support. Okay, so I'm caught up on super chats. Let me fire up my email and get a move on here. Oh, okay. So my dad sent 25 this month, and he says for whoever remembers. So this is gonna be 5 tickets. The first 5 people who remember which motors were clicking yesterday. Whoever remembers which motors were clicking yesterday. I think he's talking about today. I mean, they kind of were clicking yesterday too. They've been clicking. But which motors were clicking? What were they? You got to get the manufacturer and the size. You don't have to remember the KV. The manufacturer and the size. Hey, Ryan's close. Thank you, Dad. All right, so we got 5 folks. Kevin Sumner with a $50 PayPal. Holy hell. He says 5 tickets each for the first 2 super chatters. So if I scroll all the way up in the chat, the first... all right, well, we got to do the same thing. CRC Fab, are you still here? CRC Fab, if you're still here... You get 5 tickets thanks to Kevin Sumner. Who else did a super chat? Well, the next super chat was Jimmy the Cow. I know he's here. So Jimmy the Cow is getting 5 more. It pays to super chat people on YouTube, friends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Dagul, you might get these other 5 if CRC Fab isn't here. CRC Fab, all you got to do is type at CiottiFPV into the chat and you get 5 free entries. Thank you, Kevin. Super, super generous, my friend. Double Deuce, Mick Mucus with a $10 PayPal. He's getting 2 tickets to the Wet Noodle Show. There we go. Craig, Flemo Fly with a $15 PayPal. He wants to win. Wait, I didn't show you guys what you're playing for. You guys are awful trusting of me. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, guys. I got all carried away. You are not playing for a what you normally play for. You are playing for a Light 2 radio. The SIM version, the Beta FPV SIM radio. This does not have ELRS or any protocol in it. You just hook this up with USB-C, and then it just runs right into your computer for a SIM. If you are trying to get someone into FPV, holy shit, this is how you do it. You give them this, you get them into the simulator, and away they go. You're also going to get M&Ms, and you're going to get the full big sticker pack. We've got the We Bleed Band-Aids, and then we've got IGAO 6, big and small, CMYK, IGAO 5, Northeast Whoop, We Bleed, Broken Prop Crew, FBI Guy, We Bleed Garbage Pail, Vegan, Jimmy the Cow. Got it. I am also going to put something Tiny Whoop related in here. Hold on. This will be a Tiny Whoop themed thing. Oh. The batteries. Another set of these batteries. You're going to get these 340s with the leads on them. Throwing these in as well. I got to find a box to ship all this in. There you guys go. Okay. Oh! You're also playing for a lanyard. I put stuff next to the desk to remind myself, and then I forget about it. This lanyard as well is going in there, and then this is a We Bleed Annoyatron. And wasn't there a goggle strap as well that I put over here? Apparently not. There you go. Oh, and a King of the Whooper sticker. A Burger Micro King of the Whooper sticker. Wow, nobody has gotten it. Nobody remembers the motors that are clicking. You guys are all getting close, but nobody's actually getting it. Okay. Flemo, did I get you? I got you. All right, hold on. Let's go back to this view so that you guys can check my work. Matthew arose with a $10 PayPal for the giveaway. Thank you, dude, for the support. Let's get you on here twice. There we go. Right. So where did I leave off with super chats? I left off at DeGoul. Julio with a $19.99 super chat. Thank you, brother. Let's get you on here 4 times. 1, 2, Jesus, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, got it. Hey Ryan, going for 2 with a $9.99 super chat. Thank you, brother. And then G Wolfman with a $10 super chat. He says, "Let's win." You got my vote. 1, 2, nope. Oh, ran out of spaces. There we go. Okay, cool. B Kirk says Team Order 1304s. All right, so I'm doing too many things at a time. It was CRC Fab. I got you. CRC Fab. You get 5 tickets courtesy of Kevin Sumner, because you were the first person to do a super chat. Congratulations, brother. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go. Pays to support people on YouTube, sometimes literally. Thank you so much, Kevin. Super generous. Thank you, Dad. We've still got 5 entries for whoever remembers what the clicking motors were that I took off of the Caillou Mini today. Jimmy the Cow says, include a Vifly 2-store 3D print holder for the giveaway too. Jesus, you're right. Everything got moved around, and those are in a big box. Where the hell did that even go? Oh, it's right here. I am a organizational mess at the moment. And so, yeah, we're throwing one of these in as well, which is perfect because I have to ship this in a box anyway for the light radio. And so, yeah, this holds a 2-stir at a 45-degree angle. Very, very cool 3D print file. Awesome. Somebody can get a big old box of stuff. Capital C says 1304 RC in power. Close, but no cigarettes. Jimmy the Cow says, we got that. CRC says, I'm here. Hey, Ryan says, my super chat for 2 was after you swapped to my PayPal. What's that mean? Super chat for 2 was after you swapped to my PayPal. What does that mean? Why can't I understand what that means? Portal's End with a $10 super chat. He says, 2 more. You got it, brother. G Wolf Band's on there. That's good. Portal's End. Hey, Ryan, tag me and say that differently. I'll understand it if you use different words, I'll bet. I don't know why I can't figure out what you're saying. Jamie Flies F50 says, were they RC in power 1504s? Nope. Well, so, I mean, here's the problem. If I say, yes, you got the right answer, then everybody can just copy your work. So I guess, oh, here we go. People are starting to answer correctly. So I just need to wait for there to be 5. 1, 2. Here's the biggest hint that I'll give you. 2 people have answered it correctly so far. Shankin with a $10 super chat. He says 2, please. You got it, my friend. Thank you for the support. We got 1 and 2. Jimmy the Cow mooed at me, as he does. All right, screw it. Jimmy the Cow got it right, so Jimmy the Cow gets an entry. We'll test people's reaction time. So Jimmy the Cow gets the first of my dad's entries. Mr. Clean is next. Be honest, you both rewound back to the beginning of the live stream, didn't you? Dagul got close, but not quite. FizzPV somehow got it wrong. McMucus got it completely wrong. FizzPV then got it right. All right, so Fizz, you get one. There's 3 left, which is going to be B. Kirk. Dagul got spell checked. Dagul got screwed by his spell check. The company is not amazing. Capital C didn't get it either. Jamie Flies got it. It was AMAX 1303. So many of you guys said 1304. I don't even know if there are 1304s. I'm sure there are, but all right. Check my email one more time. We're good. Cool. I got everybody. If you're not on here, then I'll get you on next month. Jimmy the Cow used the live transcript off Sunday's live stream. LOL. Nice. All right, cool. Everybody gets a ticket, and all but one get blown away as soon as the goat goes. Jimmy the Cow is down by motor number 3, right next to Jamie Flies FPV. Jimmy's gone. Jamie remains. Skull 901, you have won. Congratulations, dude. I put the thing back here. I need to get it back out. Well, actually, I have to ship this in a box, so I'm going to write your name down on the Beta FPV Light Radio 2 Sim, and hopefully I will remember that I've written it there. Congrats, dude. SCOLE 901. Go get somebody into FPV with this, my friend. Or, I mean, you could certainly use it yourself, but so perfect for getting somebody hooked on the crack cocaine that is FPV. Thanks, everybody. I'm very lucky to have a community of folks that support me so nicely. All right, we've got -5 minutes. Jesus Christ. I was going to fly. We are going to fly. I'm going to fly a little bit. I charged up 30 300 mAh 1S batteries to go chase RC drift cars on Saturday. And then my stomach was like, nah, dude, you're going to sit on the toilet for 3 hours and grunt instead. And so I'm in the process of discharging them, but the best way to discharge them is to fly them. It's a lot faster and way more fun. So we're going to fly a couple of batteries here real fast. And we are going to run one of these 1.4-inch rigs, actually. This is an old school Air 65 that I moved into a Meteor 65 Pro frame and paired up with these Gemfan 35mm S propellers. I don't necessarily recommend this build, but it is interesting. It is kind of fun. It's better. Like, if I transferred this back into a 1.2-inch frame, it would kind of do everything better. But this is cool because it's a bigger propeller, and so it's slower, and it's a little bit floatier, and so it's fun. This is really fun to fly these 1.4-inch builds, but yeah, they don't do anything better. I don't fly any better. It's just, you know, kind of different for the sake of being different. Hold on, I gotta unplug and replug everything in the world all the time because FPV is pain. There we go. All right, so these are the, which motors are these? 0702 30s? No. 27,000 kV. 27 million kV. Here we go. I guess I should turn the goggles on, eh? Great. Wow, crash recovery. That was pretty impressive. So we had a couple of friends over, and so I took the majority of the gates down. Which is kind of fun, because it gives me more room for activities. Oh, I just clipped the fucking sim rig there. Oh, God! Still plenty of gaps in here, though. Oh, God, no! Coming too close! Uh-oh. So used to doing that power loop. It's so weird that it's not there. Oh, I've still got the Newbie Drone cube. The Newbie Drone pain cube. Oh, God. Oh, boy. Don't hit yourself. Oh, my God. What was that about? Woo, buddy. What's going on upstairs? Anything fun? Oh, God, no! Everyone's sleeping. Oh, I tried to get all slick and go through there backwards and sideways and weird like. Oh, I'm stuck between my shoes! Oh, it flipped upside down. What a jerk. Fly your 6 batteries today, friends. You'll be a better pilot tomorrow for it. This is your daily reminder. If you fly 6 batteries a day, you'll be doing all the shit that you see me do before you know it. Like mirror flips, yo! Oh shit, got rejected by that LED light panel. There we go, 1 battery discharged. Let's do another. More discharging. When you land at 3.5 volts at 3.5 volts, the battery on a tiny whoop will usually bounce back to about 3.8, and so you can just fly and then put the battery away. You don't have to then put it on your charger, set to storage mode, or any of that mimbo jimbo jambo flambo. Somebody just came to join the madness. It's this guy. It's this little troublemaker. Look at the glorious hair on this dog right now. I'll have you know that I have been brushing the shit out of this dog to try to keep his hair from getting all matted. And go figure it works. Whoa, okay. This rig does weird shit sometimes on these bigger propellers. The bigger propellers are a lot heavier and more draggy, and so they the response time is not the same, and they just do some strange stuff sometimes. So that's like the main reason why I'm like, yeah, maybe don't do one of these 1.4 inch builds, but it is kind of fun. It's just so like slow and floaty. I mean, I don't know, it's not that noticeable, but I do notice it. But you lose that sharpness of the 1.2 inch rigs. Yo! That bar cart power loop is not easy to do. I got lucky twice in a row there. It also hammers the batteries. Look at that runtime, 1:33. Like, that's really short runtime. But like I said, it's just an interesting build. CO3 camera, by the way. Old school CO3 camera. There are many different versions of the CO3 camera. This is an older one. This was a bind and fly. This was a bind and fly that I frame and propeller swapped. Alright, this is going to be our last battery because it's getting late. I want to go get something to eat. I'm starving. Thanks for hanging, people. Thanks for supporting me. Thanks for joining in on the giveaways. Thanks for being such fucking good human beings. I know you're good human beings because you're still here. And I rant a lot about things that, you know, some people don't want to hear. Because it's hard to hear some of this stuff, but it's important to hear it. Because we're all here together on a giant fucking spaceship. And so treating massive groups of people like shit just to like benefit yourself is really bad. And has no place around here. Oh, I just clipped the light panel. Teddy boy, what are you doing? I'm gonna blow your fluff around. Oh god, I almost got it stuck in the fluff. That's what I wanted, dog. Yes! Feel the breeze, Teddy! Feel the breeze. Minute and 35. Yikes. Thanks for hanging, friends. CiottiFPV.com to support me. This is the only way that I can keep doing this. The bigger we grow this, the more stuff I can test, the more stuff we can know not to buy and or to buy. So tell your friends, take a clip of the double power looper on the bar cart, do the, organic marketing stuff that works the best. And yeah, we'll keep hanging out forever. Forever! FizzPV says, Skull 901. Dagul says, would that 1.4-inch build be worth a try with an HD0 AIO 5? No. I thought so, but it takes a bad situation of shitty runtime, and it makes it even worse. Yeah, it is the 1.4-inch build has to be infinitely lightweight, like super lightweight. That's the only time that it works. And the old school Air 65 was very lightweight. And so that's why this flies as decent as it does. If this got any heavier, it just falls apart and it just flies like shit. Nathan Wells says, this whole stream I haven't been able to type in chat. I knew the AMAX answer. I tried restarting my phone and finally now just updated YouTube. It sucks, dude. FizzPV says he asked where to send his address. Oh my god. Wait. He asked where to send his address. Wait, what? Skull 901, you're I have you. You're good. Right? I'm pretty sure you're in I'm pretty sure your address is in Patreon. I'm double checking real quick though. Oh, it might not come up under this though. What do I need to search? Patreon to get your address? Thank you, Fizz. Yeah, CiottiFPV.com has all my contact info. All my contact info on it. Instagram and Discord I check the most. My email sucks, but I'll eventually get there. Get your message out of there. Facebook messages is probably just as bad as my email address. Cool? Thanks, people. Be good. I'll see you on Wednesday and then again the following Monday because I'll be hard at work in Tulsa, Oklahoma, sweating my absolute balls off. Patrons, as a reminder, you've got a rough cut of the Portlandia edit of me ripping around the massive Portlandia statue and the downtown Portland area, which is pretty cool. Be good, people. I'll see you Wednesday. Thanks for hanging. The flight footage you're about to watch is the Caillou Mini. Last two batteries from the Caillou Mini build on the 1204s. I think it's the 380. Yeah, it's the 380 mAh battery first, and then the 450. See you guys Wednesday.
Yeah. Out in the yard where the grass grows wild, CiottiFPV's goggles locked, grinning like a child. Teddy spaghetti's, fur flies, and jet wash dreams. Yeah. Chasing small whoops like a dog possessed fiend. Eyes on a neon blur, hard in the chase. Big fuzz and prop spin, all tangled in place. Yeah. Four-legged rebel with a rotor stir tail in the circus of the sky. They never fail. CiottiFPV, Teddy Spaghetti, dynamic duo kings, barking at the breeze, throttling at top speed, they zooming through hoops, flipping in style. That's no.
yeah. Shotties on sticks, Teddy's on paws. Side by side, legends breaking all the laws. Through the kitchen, over couch, scale terrain. Backyard mayhem in their flight domain. No ground too sacred, no loop too tight. Fuzz, fuel, fury ignites the night. When pilot and pup lock eyes on the prize, every whoop they conquer is a fresh cut surprise. Yeah. Yo, Shotty behind the sticks, Teddy's leading the pack. Prop guard missiles unleashed, never looking back. No leash, no map, just freestyle Mike. They on the dog drone streets every day and night.
Said whoops, hitting low, gotta nail the dive, Teddy.
Push throttle up, feel the beast come alive.
I see the neon arc, got the sticks locked in, Teddy.
Yeah, let's rip this loop, ride the roar of the wind, Teddy. Yep. Yeah, CiottiFPV, Teddy's spaghetti, diamond and duo kings, barking at the breeze, crawling at top speed, zooming through hoops, flipping in style. That schnauzer's got throttle and a toothy smile. Teddy's spaghetti. Barking at the breeze, rolling at top speed, zooming through hoops, flipping in style. That schnauzer's got throttle and a toothy smile. Yeah, when you hear that bar cut the rotor hum, you know Ciotti and Teddy's mission's just begun. FPV's fur-faced legends sing it loud. Yeah, Teddy spaghetti and CiottiFPV always proud.